naszej wysokości przelotowej rozpoczniemy nasz serwis. W dzisiejszym rejsie mamy przyjemność zaoferować Państwu posiłek, kawę, herbatę oraz napoje orzeźwiające. W ofercie mamy także wybór i alkoholi. Ladies and gentlemen, after reaching our closing altitude,
где кочуют туманы, где утрами роса покрывает траву. В низком домике я у степного кургана одиноко и тихо, как прежде живу. От далекого друга день и ночь непрестанный, дорогой и желанный, я все весточки жду. Расстилаются травы, а на травы от сосен ложится хвоя. И к тебе, как на крыльях, родной и кудрявый, сквозь туман летит эта песня моя. А тебе, моем смелом, моем друге красивом, в эту темную полночь вновь задумалась я. А тебе, моем смелом, моем друге красивом, эту темную полночь вновь задумалась я.
Right, it's Monday morning. Here I am again at the airport in Prague. Terminal 2, Terminal 1's over there. There are a number of ways to go to the city centre from the airport. So if you're visiting Prague, there are a number of ways in which you can do this. Obviously you can hire a car if you want to. That's always a possibility, but that'd probably be the most expensive way because you've then got to park it as well and everything like that. The next most expensive are the special airport taxis from the hotels, which are quite expensive ways of... here we go. That's going to the... that's dropping off. That's dropping off up there. I don't think it's taking. It'll be taking in a second. The next one up will be taking. I think that's the case. Hang on a second. Hlavní nádraží? Na hlavní nádraží? No. Okay, so he's not taking, he's just dropping off. He said the next one's going, that's quite usual. But one time I was caught out, so that's why I still check. Because one time the same one bringing them also took them and I didn't get on it, so now I always check. But 9 times out of 10 the one that brings it, the ones that brings the passengers from the centre, isn't the same guy taking them back again. So anyway, back where I was, the most expensive way, you know, 800 crowns for an airport taxi, 600 crowns, 650, 700 crowns. One of these call taxis, the yellow ones over there, which is AAA or another metered company. You don't get really all that much by way of pirate taxis here as you do in Warsaw that take you for a complete ride. You have to be very careful in Warsaw. But here the metered taxis are, you know, it's about 650 crowns should do it. Then you've got these little white hoppers down there as well amongst them, shuttles to certain of the hotels down there. And they cost 150 crowns, which is of course much more reasonable. That's only like about £5 or $8. But here we also have the buses. The ones that go to Davidska and a couple of the ones are actually within the Prague system, so they're 26 crowns, but then you have to get onto another thing. You have to chop and change and get on the metro system and everything, which is alright if you're used to it. But if you just simply want to get into the centre on a single bus like I do, it actually stops just by where I need to be. Then I need the Airport Express. That costs 50 crowns, which again is extremely cheap. It's only a third of the price of the hopper. The hopper in turn being a third of the price of the taxis. But you never get this price information actually given inside the airport. You can ask for it and they give you it in very general terms. But the actual where they actually list the prices, they don't. They list the opportunities available for. They list 4 possible ways of getting into the centre, but they don't say what the relative prices of them are. They make them look as though they're all much of a muchness. And of course the difference between 800 crowns and 26 crowns is, well, obviously it's an extremely large spread. But the large spread of prices for what's essentially the same result is a typical aspect, as I've discovered, of Czech life. And so therefore, if you ever think you need to go shopping around for something anywhere, then certainly the Czech Republic is a place where you need to look for the cheaper alternative, the ones that the Czechs themselves will take, in order not to get literally taken for a ride. I'm not saying that even the top end ways of getting to the airport are necessarily a very bad deal. I mean, obviously I've already said that you could go in Warsaw, you could get in the wrong taxi and get charged astronomically and, you know, virtually fall into the hands of somebody who's basically a crook. And I just don't understand why the president of Warsaw doesn't actually come down heavy on the airport and make them stop doing that, especially as they had a proper, to all intents and purposes, proper what do you call it, tender for the provision of taxi services to the airport of 2 companies, and those 2 companies won the tender fair and square, and they're getting all the time, well, it's not undercut, it's overcut, but they're allowed to stand in the taxi rank, but then the pirate taxis come and ask you, do you want a taxi, as you come off the plane, and I just basically say to them, usually, well, I don't say anything to them, I just pretend they're not there, just behave as though they didn't exist. Bless you. And basically that annoys them. Usually when people importune you, the best way to deal with it is to pretend they're non-existent people. Anyway, the 9:30 didn't actually turn up, the 9:36. but it's just simply gone on to 10:06, so that there wasn't actually a 9:36 Airport Express at all. Or if there was, it arrived just before I got there. I thought that I did get there on time, but I was on the cusp. Maybe it was a tad early. The thing here that says AE Hlavní nádraží didn't show as 10:06 when I stood there. It was showing as 9:36, so I thought I hadn't missed it, but they may not immediately change it over. It's a difficult one. And then the guy there who was dropping off at this end said that the guy was behind him, who we saw that on here a second ago. So I'm surprised that the Airport Express didn't turn up. But never mind, that's not the first time that's happened either. But you have to sometimes accept the fact that if you're going to take the cheaper method, you may end up waiting a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, 800 instead of 50, or 650 instead of 50, it's saving 600 crowns. That's 100 zlotys, same as about £20. That's the £20 saving. Well, I'll always make up that bit of time later in the day, so I'd rather save the £20, just have a bit of fresh air at the moment. So here we are, the Yizdinki, or the tickets. If you can work your way around this thing, then you're doing well. The 119 to Davidska, that's a metro station. I could use it, but after that I'm not too sure as to how it goes on from there, and so, you know, I'm not entirely mind you, it might be an idea to learn that, because certainly there are many more of those Davidska ones than there are the Airport Express, and theoretically they're cheaper. So maybe I'll have a quick look at that one. Well, I haven't been doing that much walking in the afternoons, not as much as I originally intended to because of the amount of bad weather. But tonight it's very perfect for walking. It's not too cool. It's not too warm either. So there won't be that many good evenings like this, so I thought I'd better get out. This is Hasztalska, not far from Dlogha, where my flat is. And I haven't been here. I'm just going to go for a bit of a wander. I've got in my pocket the phone with the GPS on, so there's no chance of getting irretrievably lost, unless of course I get attacked, but then it's not always easy to attack somebody that weighs what I weigh. There's one advantage of being big and heavy, is that basically that's quite a big animal to approach. So there's some interesting looking things, worth having a closer look maybe. You've got the obvious addition of a bohemian sleeping rough underneath it, or several actually. There's another one there. Actually, I don't think there's a bench in this city without somebody lies on it, goes to sleep. So it's called Kostel Sv Hasztala. So that's obviously Saint Hasztal's church, and it was founded by an order of German knights, and up until the year 1234, well, that's a coincidence, it was the then church of the hospital of the nunnery Blaneczki nunnery, the Basilican church from the years 1330 to 1375. Je pozor uchodny severnym dwolodnym z roku, který patří z Kneus. So I think it was completed with the northern nave or something, double nave or something, I'm not sure, in the year 1375, which looks out onto the najusłechtilejszym prostorem, to the most noble spaces, I don't know. The spire is Gothic in Prague. Okay, after the fire, this Baroque building rebuilt in the Baroque style by Pavel Ignacy Bayer in 1689 to 1695. So I think it's a potted history. Don't ask me if that's a correct translation, because I'm only learning Czech, so I probably haven't got it right. And here comes the coppers. There they are. Chez Marcel over there. Nice colours to the old cobbles here. Right, so I think I'll switch it off and on when anything else comes up which is worth filming. Mind you, there's always something worth filming around here. There's some people there with a stage managed happening going on with the looking as it's kind of, they've all pink hats on, but it's all only acted, and they've got the camera in front, etc. So obviously that's a little bit of TV or internet being filmed there. I suppose it's supposed to look like trying to look like a stag party. Look at these little insect eggs having been deposited all over this. It's not very healthy, really. A lot of the trees in cities are not all that healthy, but then the same applies to the trees in the country as well. So I think they're still acting out their mirth back there. There's a bit of the tin up there, poking out between the buildings. Check glass. One thing you have to say about the Czechs is that they like their bookshops. Knihkupectví is the word for a bookshop, and they certainly seem to like them. There are certainly more of them per head of population than there are in Poland, and certainly a lot more than there are in the UK. And then the books themselves are not cheap, because after all they've been run off the printers for a smaller population. Only a quarter of the size of the Polish reading population is the Czech reading population, because after all the population itself is only a quarter of the size of Poland, and so obviously the books, they work out more expensive, because the more you print, the cheaper each unit becomes. So it's one of these typical pavement cafe arrangements. waiter was looking as though he wasn't massively happy with me walking along, filming and talking, but you know, he's on the ruddy sidewalk and I'm walking and filming, so that's what he's got. If he hasn't heard of YouTube, it's not my fault. He needs to get out more. This restaurant belongs to Kolkovna. Another restaurant that I sometimes go to is in the same group, Kolkovna, and the other one that I go to on the Namnesty Republiky, or quite close to it, is very good. So that presumably is also worth a plug. Now let's have a look at this piece of funny sculpture. No, not him, the piece over the road. It's quite interesting. Oh, this is next to the Spanish synagogue. Aha. This is in honor of your man, so it is, Franz Kafka, so it is. It's a homage to Kafka, sitting up there on the shoulders of his own empty suit. Yeah, isn't that a thought-provoking piece? And people have offered their flowers in homage to the great literatus. And here's the Spanish synagogue. I thought the other synagogue that the other day was the Spanish synagogue, and it turns out that this is the Spanish synagogue. So the one that I filmed the other day isn't the Spanish one after all. So you live and learn. A hastily read guidebook is not as good as actually doing the whole thing on foot and having your misconceptions gradually. The art here is almost Moorish, almost Islamic. Mind you, that is Spanish, isn't it? It's Moorish. So that's Dushni. And there's a church opposite the synagogue here. So nice intricate patterns on the gates there. There's Aloha, the Aloha restaurant. They seem to manage to get Islam right next to the synagogue these days, which is probably not very good. Oh no, Aloha's Hawaii. That's all right then. Okay. Down there you can see the bank on the other side of the river, bridging up steeply. Whether I'll actually go all the way to the river, I'm not even sure yet, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just wandering. It's quite a liberating feeling, actually. You want to explain the menu?
Yes, of
It's a
course.
Peruvian restaurant, you say. It's a Peruvian barra libre.
Barra libre.
So explain to me then what you were going to
No,
explain.
Is
This
this.
dessert. That's it. Oh, this. Oh, this part.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have 3 courses: the starter, the main dish, and the dessert.
Okay.
You have in the starter 3 possibilities.
Right.
Then you can choose one of them,
Mhm.
or one soap
One soap.
in the starter. One
Okay.
possibility of this or one soap.
Okay.
After you have the main dish, you have three possibilities. You can choose one of them and the dessert too. But if you don't want to eat a lot, it's possible that you order only the starter or only the main dish.
Okay.
One possibility of them, no?
So what's pechuga?
The pechuga
Pechuga de
de
pollo.
is a chicken.
Rellena de queso en salsa de huacatay arepitas. Is that Quechua language?
Well, no. It's not ketchup.
No. Okay.
No.
Right. What is it? Aymara?
No. This pechuga is chicken breast stuffed with cheese in huatacay sauce with
Corn pancakes.
Corn pancakes.
Lovely.
No?
Okay.
For example. And the arepitas, this will be marinade with
Okay.
seafood stuffed with plums, cheese sauces,
Corn
corn
pancakes.
and rice.
Lovely. Very nice. Estupendo.
Estupendo.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
¿Puedo volver mañana?
Sí, claro.
Porque
Aquí tiene una
he comido hoy. He comido ya. Mañana voy a volver aquí.
Muy bien.
Muchas gracias.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana. So tomorrow, assuming I get the chance and the appetite, it'd be nice to actually try a Peruvian restaurant. If tomorrow I may have meant tomorrow a little bit in the Spanish style, as in mañana. I'm not saying I definitely will be tomorrow, as in literally tomorrow, but I would like to go back there one day. That's for sure. Bilkova. That reminds me of Sergeant Bilkova. Or Sargentova Bilkova. That's Sergeant Bilko's wife in Czech. Bilkova. The problem was, the things that Sergeant Bilko, yeah, I'm sure that was exceptionally funny comedy. The problem is that when it was out, I was too young to understand it. And now, you probably can't get it. I bet you can get it on YouTube though, I should look it up, shouldn't I? If anybody wants to link into their favourite episode of Sergeant Bilko on YouTube, then by all means feel free to link me into it. Because I need to catch up on my education on ancient American comedy. But she was nice. She had no worries at all about appearing on camera plug in her restaurant. I like that sort of person. No hang-ups. Not trying to hide from the camera lens like so many people do. Because what's going to happen? The worst case is I stick it on YouTube, which is what is going to happen. And then what happens from that? She might get some extra custom. She's laughing all the way to the bank. Yeah? I don't do these things to hurt people. Do it to help them if I can. That having been said, not everybody wants it, and so if somebody doesn't want it, I don't do it. So that's the back of the Intercontinental Ballistic Hotel. And you've got the Vltava over there, which I think, since that now looks the most interesting direction to go in. This is Whitman Tours, Walt Whitman Tours. This is the meeting point. They meet their captain there every morning and go following them around Warsaw. That's an interesting building and an interesting thing written on it. It says První Americko-Česká poistovna AS, AIG. The first American Czech insurance company, joint stock company. So, which is part of Amsico and AIG, and it's done in really nice old style. I don't think I've ever walked over that particular bridge. Something swaying about on the far side of it. Not entirely sure what that swaying thing is all about. Seems to be beating time in some way, like a massive great big metronome. Probably isn't going to come up on this. So it's still fairly, I think this will come out fairly well on the film, although it's getting darker quite quickly now, and then I'll probably turn it in because there's no point in me walking around looking at things I can't even film. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since it's a vlog, I can pretty much talk about whatever takes my fancy and whatever is going on in my particular existence at the time of writing or the time of recording. I'm a little bit behind with, like a few weeks behind with posting it up, so it may be a little bit out of date by the time you hear it, not actually relevant anymore for what's actually going on, but since at the time of recording it's relevant, I'll say it. Since we went to the Ukraine, although I wasn't aware of it, as you probably remember that during the Ukrainian trip to Lvov, those of you that watch a lot of my things, which I'm always grateful for, people following these things with interest. It's nice to know that some people take an interest in one's life. And since, you know, you probably, if you do watch my stuff, you'll probably remember that, oh, there's a bin inspector. I hope the bin was up to scratch there. He looks happy, so it's probably all right in there. But basically, when I was in Lvov, you probably remember I showed this graze that I had on my leg, and that was where most of the pain was. However, that completely healed up. What I didn't realise I'd actually damaged much more than the knee, which was grazed, was when I actually fell on my arm, I apparently must have torn my, what's it called? Oh, rotator blades or something. Rotator cuff, that's what it's called. Or rotary cuff or something like that. Rotary club cuffs. Rotary club cufflinks. Anyway, some bunch of muscles that are around the arm, around the scapula, holding it all in place. And I managed, there we are, there's the lovely river and the lovely views on the river. There's a telescope, that proves it's a proper view. If there's a telescope there that you have to put real money into for 2 minutes. So, and if there's seagulls flying over something, then it's really a view. I want to sing Galveston by Glenn Campbell. And if you've got people down, oh, check. Okay. There's that swinging thing. I don't know if you can see it swinging there in the middle. Whether that's going to come out well or not, I don't know. Anyway, this Rotary Club cufflink thing that actually holds your muscles, or is a bunch of muscles that, with their soft tendons that keep your scapula and your arm thing all in one, all together where they should be. I must have torn it because I thought I'd done something else. I thought I'd done a bunch of other stuff to it. I thought I'd pulled my muscles when I was chucking my son around and blamed him for it, the poor boy. What he probably did was he made it actually start hurting later on by aggravating it, but I don't think he caused it. I did at the time, but probably because that's when I first became aware of it. But having read the most authoritative source on the internet about medical matters, namely Wikipedia, and you can't beat Wikipedia if you need to actually heal yourself or diagnose anything about yourself, then Wikipedia is definitely the best, and it's better than the medical profession. Definitely don't bother going to a doctor. Take my advice, do what I do and just look it up on Wikipedia, what's wrong with you. You'll see that, in fact, according to a Wikipedia article on Rotary Club cufflinks, it says that people get it by enduring a fall. And then I thought to myself, well, that's right, isn't it? It's exactly the way I fell, was on that arm that I put up to actually protect the camera. And so basically, it's a nice view, isn't it? It's a nice view. And I think I'll have a nice little walk along this esplanade. Is that a word for this? Promenade? Promenade. I'll have a promenade along the promenade. So, and there's Petrin Tower over there. So basically, see how far I can actually walk along this. It's like a jetty with boats on it. So basically I did this shoulder of mine in that it's been causing me trouble, causing me not to be able to sleep very well ever since, because I used to like to double up my right arm and sleep on that. I can do it with the left arm still quite normally. Sometimes in my life the left one's been stiffer than the right. Usually the right's been the better one, and of course you should sleep more on your right side than your left, because your heart's up then more, especially if you're big like me. And of course I can't do that very well, so now I've had to readjust a lifetime's or half a lifetime hopefully of sleeping habits, and it doesn't do me much good. So I haven't had as good sleep since that time. And so now the things that I've been doing to try and make it better haven't really been making it better at all, because I've been thinking it's something completely different to what it is. Whether I actually have to go for surgery is another matter, but because that doesn't always work very well either. But at least Wikipedia gave me some exercises to do for this, which they say you can do with a dumbbell without any weights on it. So I've decided that I'm going to use a bottle of water for that, so I'd have to just a half-litre bottle of water instead of the dumbbell, because that's about the kind of weight that you'd have on a unweighted dumbbell, just a hand dumbbell. And why invest in something that you're not going to use for a long time? So somebody wants to try and get up the top of that. His friend said, "Повернись хотя бы," which is turn around at least. See? Even when you don't expect it, you get Russian lessons on this channel. That's how the elite live on that boat. Oh. There's an ambulance going over the bridge. And so basically, what it all boils down to is I have to do these exercises and then hope that that it all comes good, and if it doesn't, well then I'll have to go back to Wikipedia for another prescription. And then the lighting of the lamps. Oh, I can hear some rapping on a boat. Just goes to show that culture's not completely alive. There you go, that's an iconic view, isn't it? if I had the real camera I could zoom right up on it, but I like travelling light a bit more these days, partly because of that blooming arm I've been telling you about. I don't like having more than one bag with me at a time. And preferably one that I can wheel around. And you know how it is with these wheelie bags? They're all weak, they're all made in a weak way. And so I've broken the wheels on 2 of my cases, and I just have to drag them along as they screech and creak and make nasty noises, setting people's teeth on edge and not being very ergodynamic. One thing is, I don't want to have another fall, and so that's why, whilst Prague of course is an awful lot better lit up than Lvov is an extremely dark place at night, and especially in the winter, although it wasn't entirely winter, but it was still pretty winter. When you saw how much snow there was on the way back when we drove back from Lvov, it was pretty much still winter, yeah. And it was March, wasn't it, that we went there. So that pretty much means, walked into a bunch of flies. Jazz boat. Pretty much means I've got to make sure that I go easy on this thing and let it gradually get back to what it should be, and do those exercises from Wikipedia, and then, oh blimey, there's tons of them. I don't know whether they're probably too fine like midges to be showing up on the actual thing. That's me thinking it was rising up to greet me, but it was another dog that it was interested in. I'm no match for a bitch on heat. So here we are. Feast your eyes on that. That's Prague for you. They're like little gondolas in there. I feel like singing just one cornetto. So it seems to have, that walkway seems to have delivered one up anyway, up into the space above the river, because there's no further walkway down there. That goes straight down to the river. So you get taken up to this place where we've been before, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not going to film it more than just to give you the anchor as to where we are with this. Because that's Maneshov Most, and I've come walking over there talking during the day before, and this is the Rudolfinum. So that's given you a nice point of connection. There's Manesh, whose bridge it is. I don't know if I can remember who he is. I think I read it in Wikipedia, but the Czech Wikipedia is not, for exactly the same reason I was talking about the Czech literature, Czech books. There ain't that many Czechs. You start to feel on occasion that coming from a country like Poland or Britain, where there's plenty of people that are interested in writing about their country's facets on Wikipedia, the Czech Republic, well, on the one hand there's less of them, secondly they've got other things to do in the evening other than sit in front of a computer because the climate is a bit more clement. And thirdly, I don't know what. There was a third reason, but I can't remember what it is. And do you remember, this was where the guy was made out of letters. He was right here. Now he's gone. They've taken him away. That's a pity, because they should keep these things afterwards. They really should. They should have permanent things. They should have it. There should be a law that says temporary exhibitions should sometimes become permanent, because that's how it was with things like the Eiffel Tower. It was only intended to be there for a short time. People liked it, and so it became permanent. And what we have here is the space left over after this man has gone. And all that's left of him, all that's left of that guy sitting there thinking about the alphabet, is this pair of shoes. That's all there is of him left. And even they are left the wrong way round, so the left one's on the right side and the right one's on the left side, which is a definite comment about the confusion that still exists in society, that people have different alphabets, they can't understand one another. One of them's pointing to the left, one of them's writing left to right, the other's written from right to left. These boots left here after the statue has disappeared are a poignant reminder of the fact that even with the means of communication that the human race has developed, we still can't manage to get to grips with one another. We still can't understand one another. Do not enter the platform. Warning. Monitored by camera. I daren't touch those boots, because they are all that's left of not only a national treasure but a European Union treasure. These boots are a European Union wide treasure. I can get close to them, but I daren't touch them because they are priceless. Even MasterCard, Barclaycard couldn't pay for them. Okay, I was going to leave it at that after that momentous moment of art, but I'm here now on Mariánské náměstí, which is Marian Square. There's some interesting gargoyle figures up there. It's all fairly well lit up, so it's worth the old film. Not quite sure what figure that is there on the corner, but this impressive building here, you get the whole lot in the shot. This is called Nova Radnice, something like that. Get it again in a second. Let's find out who this character is first. Well, he's not got any name on him, so that probably means it's Jan Hus. That's usually who it is if they don't bother to write it. But not sure. Anyway, they say they wrote on this building, and it's all nice that these lights, these lamps, they give the kind of goldenness that you don't get during the day. They call Prague the Golden City, and I think that one of the things which makes it gold of an evening is the way that these lights give off a sort of golden kind of gleam. I don't know if it's slightly tinted glass or what, but there it is. Nova Radnice. It says on the door. New Town Hall, that would mean, from my very limited still knowledge of this language. So there we are. Quite an impressive looking building. There's another one of these statues without the name, although I would not like to think that that was Jan Hus with a naked lady on him like that. That wouldn't be very nice. That would rather crush my image of the reformer. Linhartska, again, people that I don't know who they are. I don't know who Linhart was. So it means I've got another visit to Wikipedia, like I had for Jungmann a few weeks ago, to find out who these people are. I can't remain ignorant all my life. So since I left the Rudolfinum area where those monumental shoes were left, I've just taken a very simple algorithm for walking. There's the Hard Rock Cafe. I haven't looked at the map or anything or had any particular aim. All I did was take an alternative left turn and right turn, left turn and right turn every time I get to a street corner. So after I've taken a right, I'm looking for the next left to take, and after I've taken the left, I'm looking for the next right to take, and just see what sorts of things come up. And there's another, well, it's just basically it's one charming square after another, and it has a certain magic when you just don't even try and understand it, just carry on going through it, using a kind of crazy algorithm like that, left right, and now isn't that odd? Having done all that, I find that I'm actually in a very familiar place. Well, I suppose all roads lead to Rome, don't they? And every road in Prague comes to the good old astronomical clock again, which is quite remarkable. The amount of times I've ended up here. Well, according to my algorithm, I'm due for a left. So here I am, take that left and then take the first right available. See what happens if I just keep on going that way. The way back to my flat's actually really not far from here. Although, walking around by the riverway, it seemed as though I came out quite a long way. It's all the roads, if you like, come back to this area, and so you end up back in the centre again. If you do this sort of thing, you can't almost get lost in Prague, because everything's going to bring you back here eventually. So this fairy tale castle of an astronomical clock and the tin church. Now I can hear that clock from my open window, which isn't going to be open in the winter, by the way, at night. Well, it's going to be partly open because I do like some fresh air, not wide open like it is for me now. So here's the next right turn. So following the same algorithm, I'm going through this extremely touristy area. I don't really like it as this crowded, because you could easily, in theory, lose something. Now my phone is under the is under my knee, in a pocket under my knee, and I'm wearing sort of pretty tough guy looking trousers, military style fatigues, and somebody tries to take something from a pocket under my knee, well then they're going to get a pretty sharpish kick in the teeth. So I'm not too worried about that one. My cash is currently wedged under the same arm which is filming, so if somebody wants to try their luck, they can reckon with what's left of my Rotary Club cufflinks working with my right arm. But you should definitely, when there's a crowd anywhere in these touristy pet places, you should definitely just switch on the old what do you call it? Now, that was a right turn. So by the rule, that should have been that left turn, shouldn't it? Just to keep going with the right thing. Let's keep it the way it says. It actually says that I can't go any further here, but I'll have to see if that doesn't work. If I come to a no entry, then I'll go back and take the one afterwards that otherwise would have taken. So that's the left. Now I look for the right. I'm getting a distinct sense of deja vu, but the last time I had this particular one was in London, so it can't be the same. Right. It's interesting to know where this will go because I'm just going according to an algorithm. Well, it will come out somewhere on the outside. Mind you, I'm going to have to, pardon me for a second, I have to pull my tough guy trousers up. I'm slipping a bit. Must have lost a little bit of weight on the walk. So there's an interesting passage to walk through, isn't there? It's got all nice wood on either sides covered there. With shops and everything, nice and old-fashioned. Old Prague culture. I don't think there's anything quite like this in Warsaw. There's nothing that I can really directly compare to it anywhere in Poland, although some people might try and compare the Sukiennice in Krakow to it, but there's rather less of that. Out we come. So by the algorithm, it's a right here, isn't there? To keep on the same algorithm, that would be a right. And then it's looking for the next left, which is up there by the Czech art glass. Knowing my luck, I'll probably end up walking up places which I've walked up hundreds of times, when the whole idea of doing this algorithm was to see something different. That's what it looks as though is about to happen here. So left, it's time for the left turn, and then I'm looking for the first available right one after that. But that would have glassed us straight on, that one there. So this is the left, and soon after that is the right. Bit of a back street, this one. With the ubiquitous Czech glass and water dripping down from some guttering up there, which is a little bit disconcerting since it hasn't rained today. There's a lot of atmosphere in this place. Sometimes the fewer people there are, the more atmosphere there is. Although I don't think that big plastic black bin there does anything for atmosphere, really. They want to be allowed to put that there. It's ruining the atmosphere. Of course, whenever you hear people talking loudly, it's obviously going to be Russians, right? So it's precisely 9 now. Don't think it focuses up too well on that clock, but it's precisely 9. Some hilarity going on at that table. This is all cafes. What was this? This was the next right, so now I need the left at the end of here. You get the picture. Now here I've not been before, so this is alright. At least if I have been, I can't remember it. Right, and I suppose that would count, that, if that's the next left, I mean that would have counted as straight on, so I'm going to carry on up here for the time being, rather than go down there. Or should I? I'm not quite sure. No, this was a, I don't know, this was a, okay, that was going left, this is going right. Oh, that's nice. Nice pieces of art. I'm just going to check and see how well on I am for as far as the old. Oh, and that'd be the left. Let's go in there. It's kind of square where you wouldn't expect it. Squares within squares within squares. I say square, they're not actually squares. They're just places built around by buildings with cafes on them. And arty-farty shops. It's nice, isn't it? Olsen's. Olsen's? Isn't that a takeoff of Olsen, O-L-S-E-N? That can't be right. Come on. Olsen's a brand. O-L-S-E-N? You can't just do O-L-S-S-O-N-S and kind of set yourself up, pretend to be Olsen. What are they doing? That's piracy. So that was the left. Let me just check and see. Oh, some modern Prague architecture. An old clock with a rose on it, very nice too. So after checking that, I discovered that I've got only 7 minutes left on this, which I might well save in case anything else more interesting comes up, rather than just wander with it. I've now come back to a place which I think I've walked around quite a bit before, not far from Mustek, and so I'll probably drop it here. But it was nice to have you with me on this walk, which in total, it wasn't all filmed, but so far it's been 70 minutes, and it'll be another 30 to go, so it's 100 minutes of very nice strolling without sitting down or anything like that. So it's going to be a little bit of health for me, and it was nice to have you along. Nearly there. Have you seen those tourists that block the streets of Prague? They gotta see all the sights to believe they got money's worth, even though they don't know what they're seeing. They don't know the history, they don't even know the difference between their death and their birth. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that sun don't shine? It shines, yeah. Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of Prague. I want to show you something that's gonna make you change your mind. Yes, how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that sun don't shine? Yeah, it shines. Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of Prague. I'll show you something gonna make you change your mind. Okay, in the past I've been in the same restaurant photographing a monstrous sweet bun. This is a monstrous meat bun with a pork chop in the middle, and so-called choron or sauce with these sort of red onion and paprika, if you like, ratatouille at the side. So it's going to be great. This is just showing you what it's like on the inside with the meat there and the juice on the inside of the bread, as it were. They call this in a brioche, so that's a brioche kneaded dough, sort of almost like beef Wellington, but in bread rather than in pastry, and of course with pork rather than with beef.